There's some stories occurred at CERN, supposedly, or that are set at CERN, dimensional beings or satanic portals.
This will end us. That was the simple, terrifying message sent to CERN by a 13-year-old boy. This wasn't just any kid. This was Max Sidorov, a prodigy who saw math in a way no one else could. He claimed the massive Large Hadron Collider wasn't just smashing atoms, it was breaking reality. He pointed to a specific date, a specific time, and an 11-minute gap where he says they opened a gateway.
Read this kid. Look at what it says there. He claims that CERN destroyed the universe during recent experiments, which has resulted in us living in a nearby parallel universe instead.
Scientists dismissed him, but then the glitches started and his warnings became impossible to forget. When Max Sidorov sounded the alarm. The story begins not in a billion-dollar lab, but in the bedroom of a 13-year-old boy. A boy who wasn't spending his time on video games or sports. His name was Max Sidorov, and many considered him the world's smartest kid. You see, while other kids were learning fractions, Max was finalizing a 20-page paper. The title alone was enough to make most people scratch their heads. Interdimensional transference via quantum entangled AI. His teachers described him as a prodigy, someone who saw mathematics not as numbers, but as a kind of universal music. He had already built small-scale energy devices in his garage and drafted theories on alternate dimensions. To put it mildly, he was on another level. But this paper was different. It wasn't just a child's curiosity. It was a manifesto. It was a warning.
We altered the weight of a single electron, which I believe shifted us.
At its core, Max's paper presented a startling, terrifying idea. He claimed that CERN, the famous European Organization for Nuclear Research, had secretly developed a quantum artificial intelligence. An AI so powerful, so smart, it could control the entire Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. According to Max, this AI wasn't just analyzing data, it was fine-tuning the 17-mile-long collider to make reality itself waver. He claimed this experiment reached its peak, culminating in the creation of a stable interdimensional portal, a doorway to somewhere else. This portal, Max wrote, remained open for precisely 11 minutes before it snapped shut. The thing nobody tells you is that this number wasn't a guess. His equations, filled with complex graphs and loops that few physicists could even comprehend, pointed to a specific harmonic resonance, a frequency that could hold a doorway open just long enough for a transfer to occur. What was transferred? He left that part dangerously ambiguous.
If there was something they could do that might open up a door to a parallel universe, you don't think they would do it?
Stranger Things, you mean?
Yeah.
But he was firm on one point. This was no accident. He claimed CERN had done it deliberately, covered it up, and completely ignored his warnings about the catastrophic risk of breaking reality. His exact words, sent in an email to a public CERN address, were simple. This will end us. To support his theory, Max cited public data. He pointed to satellite energy readings available to anyone that showed unexplained energy spikes coming from that exact region of Switzerland. These spikes coincided perfectly with the time of one of CERN's biggest tests. While CERN later explained the anomaly as a minor power surge or a calibration error, Max argued it was a cover story. To him, the surge was proof. He claimed the collider had bent space-time and in doing so had opened a gateway to something far beyond our understanding. A teenager making claims about portals is one thing, but seeing him produce mathematics that looked eerily similar to top-secret work being done by professional physicists, that made some people pause. Was he a prodigy who had stumbled upon the world's biggest secret, or just an imaginative kid? His warning was clear. The 11-minute event wasn't the end of the experiment, it was the proof of concept. It was the beginning. This boy's claims were wild, but the machine he warned about was very, very real. The quantum AI conductor. To understand Max's warning, you first have to understand the machine. The Large Hadron Collider is the single biggest, most complex machine ever built by humankind. It's a beast. It's a 17-mile ring of superconducting magnets buried hundreds of feet beneath the ground, straddling the border between France and Switzerland. Inside this ring, tiny particles, protons, are accelerated to 99.9% of the speed of light.
The one number I always have in my mind is at the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, the protons go around the ring, which is 27 kilometers in circumference, and they go around at 99.999999% the speed of light.
Let that sink in. They are traveling so fast, they circle the entire 17-mile track over 11,000 times per second. To guide them, thousands of magnets are kept colder than deep space. We're talking minus 456 degrees Fahrenheit. This is one of the coldest places in the entire universe right here on Earth. And what's the point? To smash these particles together, billions of times per second. They are smashed with such force that they recreate the conditions just moments after the Big Bang, the very birth of our universe. This is what CERN tells the public. They are looking for the fundamental building blocks of matter, the God particle, and the secrets of creation. But Max Sidorov painted a very different picture. He spoke of something else, something hidden. He alleged there was a smaller secret ring built inside the larger collider. A shadow ring, he called it, about 56 feet across. This ring wasn't designed to smash particles, it was designed to manipulate reality. And who was in control? This is the most chilling part of his paper. Max proposed that CERN had built a quantum AI so advanced it could outthink the brightest human minds. He claimed this system could process trillions of outcomes per second, making countless micro-adjustments in real time. He compared it to a chess player who could see 1,000 moves ahead, not just 2. This AI, he said, wasn't just a background tool, it was the conductor of the entire experiment. It wasn't just accelerating particles, it was searching, hunting for a specific frequency, a vibration that would push the very fabric of space-time to its breaking point. Max alleged the AI used that secret 56-foot ring to generate a resonance, a vibration strong enough to weaken the walls of our existence. And when the frequency hit the perfect note, the AI held it steady. The universe for a moment tore open. A doorway was formed. CERN has, of course, never acknowledged building such a machine, let alone letting an AI control it. But for the thousands of people who read Max's paper, it seemed to explain the impossible precision and total secrecy of CERN's work. It also explained the occasional data glitches that were quickly dismissed. If an AI this powerful did exist, who was really in control? The scientists or the machine? Max's warning about the 11-minute window was proof the AI had succeeded, and someone, or something, might have crossed through. An AI in control of a reality-bending machine. But what about the people in charge? A ritual in plain sight. When Max Sidorov came along with his theories of portals and a rogue AI, he wasn't starting from scratch. You see, he was tapping into a pre-existing narrative, a story loaded with years of suspicion and strange coincidences that many people are crazy about. Let's start with the land itself. The Large Hadron Collider is situated near a town called Saint-Genis-Pouilly. What many overlooked is that in Roman times, this town was called Apollycum. The town even had a Roman temple dedicated to the god Apollo. For those who study ancient texts, that name sends a shiver down the spine. In some traditions, Apollo, or Apollyon, is known as the Destroyer. He is called the guardian of the bottomless pit, the gateway to the abyss. CERN insists this is just a historical coincidence. But what are the odds of building the world's biggest gateway machine on a spot literally named the Gateway of the Destroyer? Then there's the art. Outside its main building, CERN proudly displays a massive statue. It's not a scientist or an inventor. It's a 2-meter-tall statue of the Hindu god Shiva Nataraja, the Lord of the Dance.
Now, from the unveiling of this Nataraja on CERN grounds, controversy's been launched from all sides, including irreligious groups, with questions as to CERN's motive in its exhibition.
But this isn't just any dance. This is the cosmic dance of destruction and recreation. Shiva's job is to destroy universes so that they can be reborn. Officially, it was a gift from India, symbolizing the cosmic dance of creation. To skeptics, however, it seemed like an ominous, in-your-face warning. Why place a statue of the destroyer outside the world's most powerful machine? If that wasn't enough, there's the logo. At first glance, the CERN logo appears to be a stylized design of particle accelerators and pathways. But look closer. Many observers claim to see something else hidden in plain sight. 3 intertwined sixes, the infamous number 666. CERN insists it's an abstract design, but once that interpretation began circulating online, it became a core part of the mythology. And then, things got really weird. A few years ago, a grainy video surfaced, filmed at night on the CERN campus. It showed a group of figures in dark hooded robes standing before the Shiva statue. They were performing a mock ritual complete with a sacrifice. The video went viral. CERN was forced to respond, dismissing it as a prank by visiting scientists. They said it was a joke, but for those watching, it was, to put it mildly, deeply unsettling. Fair or not, the world's most advanced physics lab was now associated with cult imagery right at the feet of the destroyer. These symbols are just a coincidence, right? Or are they hints of what's already happened? The entity and the scarf. This is the final terrifying piece of the puzzle. If CERN did tear a hole in reality for 11 minutes, how would we ever know? If the rules of the universe were changed, wouldn't all evidence of the old reality vanish along with it? Max Sidorov offered a simple and unsettling answer: the Mandela effect.
So the Mandela effect is the effect of, some people thought that Nelson Mandela died at a certain time, and other people remember it as a different time, and this goes for a lot of other things. But anyway, though, that is the Mandela effect, and we are living in an alternate expansion of our universes.
This phenomenon, named after Nelson Mandela, describes a situation where thousands, even millions of people share a clear, specific memory of something that never actually happened. The most famous example is Mandela himself. A huge number of people vividly remember that Nelson Mandela passed away in prison back in the 1980s. They remember seeing the funeral on TV. But in this reality, he was released, became president, and passed away in 2013. This phenomenon extends to hundreds of other cultural oddities. Many people are certain the children's books were called the Berenstain Bears. Go check your bookshelf. It's Berenstain Bears. It always has been. Others are willing to argue that the comedian Sinbad starred in a 1990s genie movie called Shazam. They can describe the plot, the movie poster. That film never existed. Max's interpretation was radical, chilling, and refused to accept the easy answer. These are not false memories, he argued. They are not simple mistakes of a fallible human brain. Instead, Max theorized they are residual traces, the ghostly echoes of a timeline that was violently erased. They are the scars left over from a previous, defunct version of reality. When CERN's alleged portal snapped shut after those fateful 11 minutes, the universe didn't just snap back into place like a rubber band. The damage was too profound. According to this theory, the universe was forced to stitch itself back together, but the job was rushed, messy, and imperfect. It left seams. It created millions of tiny, agonizing mismatches between the old original timeline and the new one we were all forced into. That nagging feeling that Berenstain used to be spelled with an E, that unshakable memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, the Mandela effect, that persistent collective feeling of déjà vu, those glitches in the matrix, these are not psychological quirks. They are the lingering evidence. They are the friction burns of a reality that has been fundamentally broken, rewritten, and poorly edited. Skeptics, of course, lined up to dismiss the claims. They argue that human memory is notoriously unreliable, a fragile and suggestible thing. They offer tidy explanations of collective misremembering and the power of internet suggestion. But this official narrative feels hollow to those who know what they saw. It fails to explain the sheer scale and bizarre specificity of these shared memories. And the claims don't just stop with Max. The story gets infinitely stranger. Enter Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, a Swiss researcher with impeccable credentials. She recounted a shocking story, a private conversation that pulls back the curtain on the official story. She told of a dinner she had with two high-level CERN physicists.
the two questions that really intrigued me was, what are you doing special there? And how many dimensions? This has intrigued me. I have still not to this day found a real definition of reality.
With the recorders off and a promise of anonymity, she asked them directly what was really happening at the facility. They told her off the record that the public-facing science was just the beginning. CERN was aware of 17 dimensions, they claimed, far more than the 10 or 11 that are openly acknowledged in theoretical physics. The conversation then took an even stranger, more terrifying turn. One physicist described a portal, not a theoretical construct, but a stable gateway generated by the collider's immense concentration of energy. He claimed that during one specific experiment, the gateway was held open and an entity passed through. It wasn't a blast of radiation or an exotic particle, it was a presence. It moved through the secure lab, a place where nothing unauthorized should be. It left behind a scarf, a tangible physical object from another place. And then, as quickly as it had arrived, it vanished. Was it a joke? A tall tale spun to frighten a curious outsider? Or was it a terrifying accidental admission of the truth? The first is CERN's official position. The collider is a safe tool for science, the power surge was a mundane glitch, and the Mandela effect is a harmless trick of the mind. The second is the one offered by a teenage prodigy, that the world's most powerful machine tore reality open for 11 minutes. And the world we live in now, this slightly wrong world, filled with echoes and scars, is the one that grew back in its place. That's all for today. But the question remains, if they did break reality, are they still doing it? What do you think? Let us know below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden truths.